Do you know what the policy is when some punk kids run in and steal a bunch of shit and then run out of the building?
Thanks. I'm not going to do that. It'll go up totally rough and whatever Dan hands me. And then I'll yell at him later.
That's a mistake.
Let's try this again. Hey, now it's working because it's not jumping through 7 layers of digital hell. Keep that because that's a good line. 7 layers of digital hell. I have to remember that. It's not funny at all, but I'm laughing. Would you like to clap sync or would you like me to? There's only 2 of us, so it actually doesn't matter.
I mean, it literally doesn't matter. Go for it. Be the man. Now you're the man.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to Off the Air News. I'm your host Noah, and today with me is Dan. Dan, how are you doing this fine evening?
Well, Noah, I'm doing pretty good. The world's a scary place, but I feel like we're out here. We're giving people the information that they really do need.
Now, unfortunately, our field op is not able to be with us today. Jackson is out hitting the streets for all that. I can't keep up this bit. I know I was the one that wanted to do this bit.
So quick. You gave it up so fast. See, you could have gone.
I gave it up within the first 40 seconds.
Unfortunately, our field consultant Jackson couldn't be with us today. He's out getting those hot button topics for you, the audience. You got to learn to improv, fam.
Man.
When are you and I going to go do improv classes?
I don't know. I would love to do improv classes because
dude, improv is a shit show, and I love it.
It would make this podcast good. And B,
that will not make this podcast good. I promise you.
Hey,
I promise you
fine.
That is not
me doing something to focus for more than 30 seconds at a given time. That will make this podcast good.
Spoiler alert.
At the very least, being able to roll with the punches with improv might make things better.
What? That's fair.
I accidentally totally reiterated someone, not even like when it's like you and Jackson talking and then I just totally re-say something that one of you says, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm out in the real world, I don't know
where this is going.
When I'm out in the real world and I did it then, that's concerning. I did that today to somebody and I realized it. I did realize it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just repeated exactly what you just said. And they're like, yeah, I kind of thought that was a little weird, and I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Amazing. So Noah, do you wanna explain why we had that great intro news bit that you immediately gave up like a coward?
Well, yeah, I will explain because I know we all get our news from reputable sources, right?
Yeah, nothing but reputable sources. The Onion.
The Onion, Hard Times News, CNN,
Drudge Report,
InfoWars, the Drudge Report. Freaking heck, I know people that get their news from that.
Oh, I do too. Oh, I absolutely do. Why do you think I know the name?
I don't want to say who because I don't want to out them like that.
I'll give you one guess. I'll give you exactly one guess who. Don't say it, but I'm gonna let you guess.
By the way, in case you guys notice any weird inconsistencies in this episode on the editing front,
that's literally all my fault.
It is all Dan's fault.
Sorry, I'm trying to take. We're trying. Noah and I have been talking about some new projects we got coming up, and to help out with that, I've been trying to pull a little bit of the workload off of him so that he doesn't spend 3/4 of his life just working on this stupid podcast.
Which I greatly appreciate because
don't appreciate it too much.
It's real nice.
I'm gonna tell you a secret. You're gonna have to go through this when I'm done and fix all the things I fucked up. Got you.
Thanks. I'm not gonna do that. It'll go up totally rough and whatever Dan hands me. I'll yell at him later. That's
a mistake. That is a mistake you're making, but I appreciate the trust that you have in me. I appreciate that.
But anyway, there was important things we were talking about, such as where we get our news.
Yeah.
And for those of you who get your news from InfoWars, firstly, reevaluate for the obvious reasons. Secondly,
why are you? Hold on. If you listen to this podcast and you get your news from InfoWars, I want you to reach out to one or both of us, tweet at us, whatever you have to do. Why are you listening to us? Who tricked you into listening to this episode? Because let's be upfront about it. That is not our like target demographic at all. But yeah, so the reason we Noah and I were looking at topics before we start, like we do, because we're professionals.
Exactly.
And Noah, do you wanna read this headline from that we found while we were looking for stuff?
Well, yeah. So I found out something new today just by accident. So I dropped this on Dan, which pretty much is the same headline as this Reddit post had, which was the formal former headline of this news article that I'm about to read about.
Go for it.
It is Alex Jones sent child porn to Sandy Hook families. So firstly,
There's a lot to
this is a
unpack here.
National Enquirer headline if I've ever seen one. And yeah, there's so much to unpack from that. Now, let's back up. A more realistic headline. Lawyers for Sandy Hook families say Alex Jones sent them child porn, which is not a better headline.
It's not really. It's like
It's not. It's actually no. It's somehow an even worse headline.
Somehow bringing the word lawyers into it, it makes it feel like this is an actual allegation rather than just like a random headline that we found.
So here's the thing. Alex Jones, in the past, he has made some comments about the Sandy Hook shooting, and he thinks it's fake. Which, firstly,
no,
I think you're now. I'm not above believing that a government would make up a terrible tragedy to control people. I'm not going to say that will never happen and could never happen, because it definitely does and has.
Or deny horrible tragedies.
Exactly. But like the Sandy Hook shooting was just a bad thing all over. There was no agenda being pushed from the Sandy Hook shooting. It was just a miserable thing that happened. That
okay. To play devil's advocate.
A lot of gun control stuff.
Yeah, the gun control stuff came out.
But like,
point is that
Alex Jones, made a big old ass of himself talking about this. And obviously a lawsuit got involved because this is emotional damage at this point. He is loudly talking about like the whole thing. He claims that psychosis fueled his Sandy Hook like hoax stance because he has backed up and apologized about the whole thing. But the flip side, he's still in this like court case where they're trying to like, get some money out of him for like the defamation deal, So you know what you do when you try and, and let me rephrase this. A really cheap, easy to backfire tactic that you do when you try and win a court case is?
What's that easy to win tactic?
Well, it's not a good easy to win tactic because it can backfire real hard like it did here and for other reasons too. You just dump information at people. So I need to see if I can find out how many emails ended up getting sent to the lawyers. But what happened is the Sandy Hook victims' lawyers demanded certain emails. So what Alex Jones's lawyers did was they just bulk sent them all the emails, so many thousands and thousands of emails.
What a dick move! Like
exactly.
That's such a you want like, you know what it is? It's the stupid. It's the the scene in Bug's Life where Hopper is like, that hurt, and he like throws a little like seed or whatever, and then he just pulls the plug and it's like the entire avalanche of seeds. That's the dick move. That's the level of dick move you are. You are Hopper. You are objectively a villain. Hot take.
No, yeah.
Welcome back to Off the Air News with Dan, the hot take guy.
And now over to our hot takes, Dan.
Alex Jones bad. Orange guy bad. Socialism
Thank
good.
You, Dan. Whoa, I didn't say back to Jackson yet.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry. He's not. Like I said, he's not here.
Sorry,
so I gotta.
Not socialism, communism. It is different.
Yeah, excuse me. What are you, the American populist, thinking socialism and communism are the same thing? Get out of here.
So they dumped a mountain of emails on the lawyers, all right? And the reason the strategy is bad is you might accidentally leak information that you don't want them to have because you were careless,
like an idiot.
But in this case, they sent emails that were just like sent to them. And a lot of these emails had, not a lot. Like, I'm not talking about like, and all these emails 100% were child
of every
pornography.
Email.
But these emails were just like, there was a lot of child porn in there. Now, don't worry. Alex Jones has made statements about how he doesn't know about this.
Of course. Because I'm going to tell you, Suki, you know what you do when you get accused of being, if not a kid diddler, a promoter of kid diddling?
Do you want to hear his quote on it before you guess what he would say?
Please do.
Actually, okay, so here it is. Oh, let me get my Alex Jones voice on real quick.
Please. Let me hear your best Alex Jones. I don't want to have to bring somebody else in for this. It's not going to be
my best Alex Jones, but I'm not into kids like your Democrat Party, you cocksuckers, he said. I don't like having sex with children. I would never have sex with children. So Alex Jones very clearly does not want to have sex with children. Don't worry.
like a
He
normal
said it
human being.
so many different times, unlike the Democrats, who all obviously want that.
Shoot, dude.
I just can't. Brief tangent. I will never understand people who immediately blame the other side as everything wrong with the world. For the most part, there are some cases where I totally understand, like there are certain stances where you can be like, Republicans this, Democrats that, but like when it comes to like, this would be like saying I like cheeseburgers, unlike you Democrats who hate cheeseburgers.
Except, cheeseburgers are a very bland, normal thing. And we're talking about
that's like, no, I understand. But that's like the point I'm trying to make is like, these are the kind of examples that people like Alex Jones make. I'm not a fifth dimensional vampire like those Democrats. I'm an American citizen. But
okay. I don't want this entire episode to just be talking about how Alex Jones says some dumb shit. Because to be fair, there are plenty of people on both sides of political bullshit that say a lot of dumb shit. It's just that Alex Jones is the easy target because he's so loud about it.
And can we appreciate the fact that like it's actually getting harder and harder to find his content since he's been banned from Facebook and Twitter?
Thank God.
Like,
I don't know when the last time I actually saw an ironic Alex Jones tweet. I mean,
it's because he got
banned, but that's not the point.
But yeah, like with the exception of some of the people I know here, who a man opened up a conversation with, do you know about Alex Jones? And I'm like, oh, that dude's wild. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I love Alex Jones. And I'm like, oh no, he's serious. So I had to backpedal super hard. And I was just like, because this guy's a regular. I have no desire to start a fight with him. So I'm like, oh yeah. And you just turn into the yeah machine until he talks about something else.
Yeah. The thing I find interesting, right, is that there's no such thing as a casual Alex Jones fan. I would argue that, like, even though he's not as extreme, I grew up in kind of a right-leaning household, so things like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and stuff like that. I've never met somebody who's a casual fan of them. You're either the kind of person who turns them on every time you get into the car, like you turn it on the radio, that's the channel you're listening to, or you think they're just a little weird at minimum. I can't think of anybody that just is like, yeah, I don't really obsess. I just kind of casually listen to Rush Limbaugh when he comes on because they're so polarizing by the very nature of what they do. It's difficult to even like try and listen to them casually. And like I said, I'm sure that there are people who are equally full of vitriol about other topics. But again, it's a real easy target. It's a real easy target.
See, I think the reason that the political spectrum attracts people like that the most is because it is easy to whip up a following when you play the red versus blue card. And I don't mean that literally in the stance of Republican versus Democrat. I just meant that as a general statement. It just happened to come out the wrong way. But you know what I mean. Freaking heck. When you play A versus B, I'm going to say that instead because it's easier. When you play A versus B, it's very easy to find your fans of A that don't like B. And it's even easier to find the people that don't mind A, but really hate B. So they'll become your friends.
Yeah, echo chambers and all that.
I freaking hate echo chambers.
I mean, I would love to be like, I hate echo chambers too, but at the same time, like the
stress level in your life drops so much when you curate your online presence.
Yes, to be only a specific kind of person.
More of an echo chamber.
No, absolutely, and it gets to the point where at a certain point you have to like actively work to like find dissenting opinions that aren't just immediately ridiculous. You know what I mean? Find the actual opinions rather than the I am insane opinions. And like, that's not to be like, oh, I'm a great person because I do that. Because I definitely have like my own like double handful of actual news sources that I get all my stuff from. I just wish that like I wish it wasn't so hard to find people who have different opinions, but can still like make sense when you're not like already part of the audience. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's super easy, right? All right, here we go. Ready? You ready for my hot take? You ready? Easy opinion to agree with. Rich people should probably help out people who are less fortunate than them. I know.
personal opinion,
the hottest of
while
hot
rich
takes.
people should that, I don't think that they should be forced to do that.
That's not the point. That's not the point. This is just a blanket statement. It would be nice if rich people helped out poor people. That'd be nice. That'd be great.
Yeah. I could strongly agree.
And it's easy. It's easy to make that agreement. And then you have the opposite side where you could go the extreme, which is every man for themselves. You don't owe the world anything. Fuck all the people, right? And I don't know. It's a little hard to agree with that if you have any amount of empathy for human life. The problem is trying to find the point in the middle where you actually land. And like, actually, you kind of making a point there kind of makes my point for me. Where like, yeah, we can find common ground at some point. It's just a matter of where, and having to put that effort in is difficult. Side note, on a vaguely related note, I just have Twitter open in my other window, and all of a sudden I just saw my trends for you trending in Pennsylvania, Nazi Germany.
What? Oh no.
Trending in Pennsylvania, Nazi Germany.
I don't want you to let me know more about that. Can you let me know more about that?
Ooh, boy, I'm looking. AOC. What is AOC?
Is it Alexandria? Ocasio-Cortez, though. It's her.
Oh, I love her. Have you ever listened to the things she says? I love her. She is
don't
wild.
love everything she says because some of the things she says, every time a friend of mine, he shares a lot of memes he makes about her and how dumb she is. And I don't agree with them. But when I look into certain things, she does say some dumb things. But you know what? Hot take. So does every other senator, and she's being targeted because she is young.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate that.
I mean, young and also a woman and
a minority.
I was trying to say minority, but I wanted to double check what she was, what ethnic group she was a part of before.
Don't worry, she is not white.
That's fair. But
so yeah, that's you got your whole your smorgasbord, if you will.
Sorry, the reason I brought up AOC was Alexandria Cortez was because one of the things was oh, you know what it is? It's from the God, this is such a political episode. I don't care. Fuck it. Jackson's not here to bring in his socialism, so we're good.
Communism.
Same thing.
Literally not, but okay.
Oh, it's because she retweeted something that was about the borders, the migration the migration camps for incoming migrants that the U.S. has on the border. She was equating them to concentration camps, which, hot take, it's bad. It's bad. It's just bad. Don't do that. I don't know.
As in what she said, don't do that?
Yeah, as in what she said to do that, but also don't
put people in concentration camps.
Don't put people in concentration camps. Is that a hot take? I feel like it's definitely a hot take, man. In this political climate. I don't think it's that
hot take a take.
So yeah, that's why that came up. What were we talking about? We were talking about something. It was actually a decent discussion. Then I got distracted by the fact that Nazi Germany is trending in Pennsylvania. Do we have anything else we want to say about Alex Jones?
No, that was pretty much it. I don't like talking about Alex Jones, if we're being totally honest.
I mean, I do, but only in the context of wild.
That's more along the line. Let me rephrase that. I do not enjoy talking about Alex Jones when it's not just memeing on him.
That's fair.
Mostly because it kind of makes me really sad.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't really like that.
Yeah, I totally get that. I don't know, man. It definitely makes me sad. I just wish that just be chill, dude. Just chill out, fam. You know what I'm saying? You get me.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of people that need to chill the hell out, the other big let's get political headline. God, this is 30 minutes of all political. Welcome to the political episode of Off the Air. This is what happens when Jackson doesn't show up.
Talking about how we were going to be a news station, and then I just could not keep the bits. So.
Man, that's on you. I am so disappointed in you for not holding that bit for you barely made it a minute and a half. It was bad.
I didn't even make it that long, dude. It was 30 seconds. But
God,
thanks.
I'm not gonna say that I'm completely disappointed in you, but I'd be lying if I said I was proud of you. It's basically how my family feels about me in general. Totally unrelated. The other headline that prompted this to become a news episode there were these massive protests going on in Hong Kong, this past week. And I just thought it was really interesting because by the last estimates, somewhere in the realm of, on Sunday, the march said around 2 million people took part, which Hong Kong is from again, just pulling random numbers from different news articles, is a city of about 7 million people. That is 2 out of every 7 people in an entire city out on the streets protesting, which is,
you know what? That's a lot of people. A lot of people.
Insane. That's an insane number of people, to the point where like I can't mentally process that number of people out in the streets, like after a specific cause. The cause in question was this extradition bill that essentially I'm trying to remember what the exact details of it are, but it essentially means that, like, as of right now, Hong Kong doesn't have a extradition deal with somebody, Taiwan, I want to say, but I could be very wrong. I don't want to like give incorrect information. Where the heck is the stupid thing? Okay, so yeah, the bill would essentially allow refugees and like people in hiding and who broke the law in China to be extradited from Hong Kong back to China, because Hong Kong has some really fascinating political structure within like the context of like the mainland China, where like they aren't actually the same country, but they kind of are, but they aren't really, but they aren't. It's really fascinating that I'm not going to I could literally spend an entire podcast talking about it, because it's just really, really interesting.
But we're not, because I cannot imagine that.
It would be the most boring episode. It would be the absolute. Tune in for the bonus content episode of Dan just talking about dumb political shit the entire time, like really upsettingly intricate information on like political structures in other countries that I have only got a surface knowledge of. I won't even pretend like I'm actually putting research into this.
Extremely intricate and nuanced situations that we will brush past with there's a lot of people in Hong Kong and. Yeah, anyway.
No, they were so the protest was about this extradition bill that is it extradition or extradition? I guess it's the same word, whatever. I'm sorry for audience, because one of you is probably angry at me for pronouncing it wrong. But yeah, it basically it's a freedom of speech protest, essentially, is what it is, and people are worried about the Chinese government trying to essentially reintegrate Hong Kong, because it turns out in Hong Kong you actually have access to things like the internet. Like the relatively uncensored, horribly toned down internet, and people like that. Wild. Who would have thought? And I just thought it was really interesting, and it was really cool to see like an entire group of people of that magnitude actually get together and like be behind a single ideal. Were we the one? Were you guys talking about it? I think you guys were talking about it last week. Where like Jackson pointed out that like if you have like 10,000 people and you just decide to do a thing, not really a whole lot people can do to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
And like the idea of 2 million people, and to be clear, this was like an entire ridiculously peaceful protest, to the point where like people were staying behind afterwards to clean up the trash. Like it's insane how peaceful and like as somebody whose city got lit on fire last time we won something, like a good thing happened. It's insane to see like how well maintained the whole thing was.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was a super interesting thing that kind of pulled my attention this week. So all that being said, free speech good, Orange Man bad. Glad we got there. See, Jackson's not here. I got to make his bits for him. This is for you, buddy.
I don't think he usually makes those bits, but
he has definitely done the blank good, blank bad.
Oh well, yeah.
He doesn't do the bits. Immediately points out how he does in fact do the bits. Oh wait, yeah, you right.
I mean, I'm not about to try and deny the truth.
Fair
because
enough.
I'm not Alex Jones.
Nice.
Thanks.
That was good. That was real good.
So anyway, can we talk about some happier topics?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about like 5 tons of cocaine being found in Philly or something? That's something to be happy
I gotta
about.
pull that up. Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I while I was scrolling through to just find random things to talk about this week, because like I said, we definitely prepared for this like adults. NBC Philadelphia had an article about 15,500 kilos of cocaine. Which, what is that in pounds? Because I am an American and I'm going to use the pound like an American.
I'm gonna find out real quick.
I got it. Jesus H. Tapton Christ. That's 34,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's too much cocaine. It's just far too much cocaine.
What do you do with that much cocaine? 17 tons of cocaine.
I was gonna say that's 17 tons of cocaine.
Oh, Jesus H.
I don't. Oh my gosh. Like, how? How do
Street
you
value
even
of
get that
more
much
than $1
How do you
billion.
get that my church white boy is gonna act up here real quick. How do you even get that much cocaine?
I don't know.
That's just so much cocaine.
Okay, so 7 containers were found aboard a ship previously stopped in Colombia, Chile, Panama, and the Bahamas. So that makes a little more sense. Because you gotta assume it's like cartel movement type things. Because like that's the only thing that makes any sense. But still, that's a fuckload of cocaine. Yeah, someone said $1 billion. Yep. They allegedly pulled the members of the ship's crew have been arrested, charged with federal drug trafficking charges. Allegedly pulled the drugs aboard while at sea. They tried to pull it's not ours, officer. We just found it there.
I can't. There's
How do they?
I can't imagine trying to get away with something by saying, "Nah, man, that's someone else's."
That ain't me.
On this kind of level, because I mean, this is not just cocaine sitting in an open area. This is cocaine like in some of these like shipping containers.
Yeah.
There's no way that they found these shipping containers floating in the ocean and said, "Oh man, well, I guess we may as well just not open these."
Yeah.
Much less that they actually picked them up. Much less that they didn't just sink as soon as they hit the water. Those things are heavy.
Much less that they didn't just report it as soon as they got into port.
Exactly. You don't try and hide that. I mean, someone does.
Someone
apparently.
did, but like, come on. God, that's insane. That's just insane. My mind is just blown. Because that's, let's see. 4 crew, he was paid $50,000, chief officer, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yeah, there was like a whole operation. This reads like a GTA like mission. I'm not even joking. Involved in the investigation was one official described as massive. No shit. Ship's second mate admitted to his role in bringing the cocaine aboard. He got a call from the chief second mate got a call from the chief officer to come down to the deck, at which time he saw nets on the port side stern by the ship's crane. The mate and approximately 4 other individuals, some of whom were wearing ski masks, assisted in pushing of the nets toward hold 7 or 8 of the vessel. According to the complaint, he was paid $50,000 by the chief officer, who has not been identified. Someone else admitted to partaking in loading cocaine onto the ship, including a previous voyage. Prior to departing, the ship's electrician and the chief mate also approached the guy, this crew member, to ask if he was willing to help again. At least twice while the ship was en route, numerous smaller boats approached the ship at sea to hand off large bundles of cocaine. This is insane. This is the most wild thing that's happened to Philadelphia literally since Gritty happened. You know what? That's what it was for. Calling it right now. It was 15,000 tons of cocaine solely to give to Gritty. Listen, you thought that money was going to a new stadium. It wasn't. God, what a wild thing.
I'm looking at the comments that were left on this article.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, obviously, you got your joke comment of the price of cocaine just went up, which is, that's funny.
Yeah, probably because supply just went down. But yeah, go ahead.
That sucks to be Wall Street. But, then you got your other comment, which is seize the ship and sink it off the coast for an artificial reef. To which the incredibly more informed comment under it is not the fault of the owners of the ship, a publicly traded company, that a few corrupt crew members decide to use their ship for a crime. Which is,
true.
Very true. But then this other dude, he doubles down and he's just like, I see your point, but it will make future ship owners check their cargoes better or less likely accept bribes to look the other way. With the huge amount of drugs on board, I'm sure many people associated with the ship were aware. And it's like, yeah, of course they were aware, but it's not the owner of the ship's fault that the driver of the ship and the ship's crew did that.
Now, hold on, Noah. Are you trying to tell me that they weren't out there on that ship on that fateful night?
You know what? My mistake. I don't know why I would have said that. They were indeed on that ship.
They were definitely on that ship.
Night.
Listen. Where do you think they're getting their cocaine from?
The ship, probably. It had so much cocaine after all.
It had all of the cocaine. Honestly, it makes me wonder how much cocaine is sitting in the like just in the port right now because of that. Like whether it's in the water or still in like a container somewhere that someone managed to get off ship. Like what? I'm super curious as to what happened to it. Because there's got to be some, right? Like when you're talking about this much, you got to assume that some just got overlooked for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm just super curious about like how much is chilling out there because of it. On an unrelated note, I definitely need some cocaine.
Freaking heck, dude.
Listen, man, I'm tired. It's been a long weekend. It has been a crazy weekend. Oh,
I feel
okay.
That. This has been a wild weekend.
Not to totally. I'm gonna be very subtle about this subject change. You ready? Speaking of cocaine, so some shit went down at work today. Well, not today. It was yesterday.
I'm terrified at how this is connecting.
Okay, so Noah, you've worked retail, yeah?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I worked food service retail.
Same thing.
Okay,
they're not, but they're similar enough. So my place is food service retail. So have you experienced the absolute terror of a corporate visit?
Yeah. Oh, many times.
The one where your managers are all like, "Oh, guys, you actually have to do your job and not goof off and like." Make sure everything's even cleaner than usual and like do all the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to have a corporate visit this week. We were actually supposed to have two. We were supposed to have one 2 days ago and then one, I think, tomorrow. And so I'm on shift, like an adult. I'm working second shift. And I was supposed to have somebody come in same time I did. And we have not been able to get a hold of them in like 4 days. So I hope they're okay. They literally just haven't been responding to anything and aren't showing up to work. So we literally don't know what happened to them.
That's not good.
Which is a great start to this story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having a bit of a wild day anyway. I made a couple dumb mistakes because I was just out of it. But nothing too major, whatever. All of a sudden, two fanciful fellows in a man and a woman in suits come in the side door, not even the front door, the side door.
Okay.
Lo and behold, corporate decided to visit halfway through second shift. So like at like 6 o'clock in the evening.
That's a bad time for a corporate visit, but okay.
Corporate. If you work corporate for any reason, for any big company, and you are like going to a location to do a visit, don't go in the middle of second shift. Go in the morning like an adult when the managers are all there. Because my coworker called out, I was the only one on shift, and so I was running a little behind because we were a little busier, and like that's what happens when you're the only person on the entire shift. So they come in, and that's going fine. Whatever. I'm dealing with some of their stuff. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, lo and behold, a bunch of punk kids come in, and they're goofing off.
Punk kids, you say?
Punk kids, hood rat kids, you might even say.
Hood rats when corporate's there, unthinkable.
Exactly. How dare they? How dare they? First of all, but these hood rat kids come in, and they're goofing off, and I'm thinking they're just being unruly kids. They're running around a little bit, but I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go up to the register. I'm gonna bring them out. Cool, we're done here. As if on cue, the second I got up to the register, every single one of those kids, and I'm talking, there were like 7 of them. I want to say closer to a dozen, but I don't want to like over exaggerate. There were at least 7 of them.
Okay.
Grabbed literally anything they could reach and just booked it. As corporate is standing there right in front of the register, like just watching the whole thing go down.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, I'm mad for 2 reasons. For the first, how dare you steal from my store, you punk ass kids, first of all. Because
secondly, how dare you steal from my store when corporate is right there?
Right there. You couldn't have waited 20 minutes. They were ready to go. They were ready to check out. You couldn't have waited 20 minutes. No.
Oh my gosh.
No, they couldn't. They had to run in and steal their shit at that moment.
How'd corporate take that?
Oh, I mean, they did the usual of, hey, well, better file that, better report that in. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm gonna do that. Because of course, at this moment, I am flabbergasted and like,
I'm just absolutely furious that they would have the nerve to do that.
I'm trying to figure out what to even do, and like my brain is going from shit, I gotta call management, to shit, corporate's here, they're probably gonna call management, to shit, I should call the local police because I'm gonna have to make a report on this, to shit, I can't get in the office to get the camera footage, so I can't actually do all the stuff that I would need to do for the report. Like I'm going to like 7 different steps. And corporate goes, I mean, it's not your fault, I guess. Just put the report in. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm a little worried to go back in on later this week because I suspect they're gonna have words for me, even though. And let's make this totally clear: I work food service retail. Do you know what the policy is when some punk kids run in and steal a bunch of shit and then run out of the building? Or anyone steals anything and walks out of the building?
What is it?
The policy is do nothing, call the police, because it is hashtag not your job. And so I'm really curious if they're gonna be pissed at me, and I have a nagging suspicion that they are, but what am I supposed to do? Jump the counter and like tackle a child? I mean, yes, I would love to have done that, but not in front of corporate, because then they would have yelled at me. I would have gotten fired.
Yeah.
Very, very upsetting. Another work thing that I've discovered this week, apparently, because that's where the rest of this episode is going now. Another work thing that I discovered
work
this week.
stories are always good.
Work stories are always good. So when you worked food service retail, what did you do with your trash? Like the leftover food?
The leftover food?
Yeah.
Well, we have very strict policies. I need to clarify that there are very specific policies around what we can and can't do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's fine. I'm setting you up, so go ahead.
We followed these very well. We could save certain food if it was within certain time frames and we got it to the cooler quick enough. Okay. That stuff would be used the next day for like back when we used to make chicken salad.
Okay.
Or
so
the shredded chicken that would go in soups. Yeah. So like as long as things were put away in the correct time frame, that's what we could do with that food.
Okay.
And if not, we had to throw it away.
Okay.
Because we serve chicken, we could not just take home leftover chicken because, that's gonna kill you.
That's where my story is going, but go ahead.
So like salads and stuff, end of the week, we would get rid of all that and anyone could have any of that to take home that they wanted and everything else got thrown out. I'm terrified to learn where your story is going since the poisoned by chicken comment is where you said, yeah, that's where I'm going.
Well, here's the thing I've discovered. And I'm going to find some sources. There's a Business Insider one. There we go. So here's the thing. Legally speaking, like on a legal level, there is actually literally no reason to not let you take food home. There is no such thing. In fact, there are laws that protect the company if they give my store has a bunch of stuff that they throw out because we do. It's a store, we throw a bunch of stuff out. And some of that stuff is like prepackaged stuff because that gets thrown out.
Right.
And they have, you have to throw it away by sell by date. And I made the comment when I first started working there way back. I left and then came back way back of, well, why don't we just donate it? Because back when I worked at Pretzel Bitch R Us, we actually did. We donated a ton of food to the local homeless shelters, which good for us. Like everything, like pretzels, yes, but also like Cinnabon. So like good for us. And so I was confused as to why we, who were selling prepackaged food, which was objectively would last longer than the stuff we made in the store, would just throw it out. And I was told it's a health and safety concern. Here's the thing. It's not, though, because for two main reasons. And I am, to be clear, I am pulling this because I've been, as I mentioned a while ago, I was watching a lot of John Oliver, and like this is one of the things he brought up, and I was a little bit furious about it. So that's why I'm talking about it now instead of just letting it go. Yeah, some states require expiration dates. Most do not, and when they do, they're to an estimate kind of just made up. Manufacturers can kind of just put whatever date they want on there for any reason.
You know what's really funny? I literally just watched a video about sell by dates yesterday.
Did it come to the same conclusion that they were all bogus and bullshit?
No, actually.
Interesting. Well, okay, I want to hear the counter opinion because I'm super interested.
Here's the counter opinion. So, just brief background. This YouTuber, his name is Say Goodnight Kevin. He does reviews on Christian movies, holding them to regular movie standards, which is amazing. That. He has been threatened with lawsuits from Christian directors who say he's trying to impede God's work and stuff like that.
Of course,
which is also fantastic. Because, practice what you preach, people. Take some criticism once in a while. But then he also is very libertarian and actually knows a little bit about economics. Mm-hmm. So he has these really strong takes that he can articulate clearly. One thing he did was he addressed this video that Cracked made a while ago about how expiration dates are BS. Mm-hmm. And the person in the video was talking about how things don't actually magically expire on the expiration date, which is like, well, no shit.
Well, yeah,
because you can't magically know when things.
If you are an adult, you have definitely eaten or drank something past its expiration date and realized, oh no, I'm not dead yet.
Exactly. Like, literally, all you need to do is give it a sniff, and make sure it doesn't smell off. It's not that hard. But Cracked made this like 15-20 minute video about it, and then Kevin's over here like, yeah, you want more government regulations trying to calculate the exact second your food's going to expire? That's not going to help anything. Expiration dates are currently, you know, run in the local sector, making things like work, and they're obviously shorter than they probably could be.
Yeah, of course.
Because they don't want to get in hot water if your food goes bad before the expiration date.
Which I will agree, right? If you should not sell things past their expiration date. That I will agree on. That is a very obvious, like, a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Exactly.
And that I will agree. And like some of the things, obviously meat and stuff, certain things you could freeze. And some things don't, like, I had a thing of lemon juice in my fridge for like almost a year, and like, it's lemon juice. What's it gonna do?
Exactly. It's
I had a thing of vinegar that had a best by date. What's it gonna do? Become more vinegar?
Exactly.
And certain cheeses are the same way, where certain cheeses will literally last forever because, again, same thing. It's gonna
once it's in the fridge, it essentially lasts forever.
Exactly.
As long as it doesn't grow mold. And then scrape.
Some things.
I hate to say because it sounds gross, but you scrape the mold off if it's just a little bit, you know. And
yes. And that comes down to certain foods will grow mold more easily, and then it comes down to how much airflow is getting in it and how much bacteria got in it when you first opened it.
Exactly.
Which is its own totally different argument. And that sort of thing, like I because I'm poor, of course I keep food in my fridge until well past its expiration date because I forget that it's like a thing that is actually going to expire. Yeah. Like we've been there, done that. The thing John Oliver pointed out was that the idea that you couldn't give it away after its sell by date is especially bogus because there are actual law, like the idea being that, oh, you can't give it away because it's past its expiry date. That means it's no good. That means we can't give it away to people. But it obviously, as we just discussed, doesn't mean it's no good. And you can't give it away because what if you get sued? You can't get sued for it. There are actual, like, Good Samaritan laws that, like, if something to the effect, and I'm paraphrasing, but if you give away a product or food or thing like that in good faith, you can't be sued for it. Meaning that, like, there's no reason that you couldn't give the food away. And I'm not saying that I should be allowed to take the food home, right? I get that, like, I work in a kind of not great part of town. I work in kind of not a great place. There's a very good reason that, like, they're like, no, employees can't take food home because then the employees have an active incentive to save food until the end of the night so that they can take it home themselves and not try and sell it to the best of their ability. Yeah. So I'll give them that. But the fact that we don't donate it anywhere is actually, honest to God, insane to me. Because then it comes down to, well, why aren't we doing it? Because food safety. Well, we just decided that's not the case, so why aren't we doing it? I don't know, too much work. And like, no.
Now, something that is worth noting, there are sometimes local laws that affect things differently than, what people like immediately look up. Like there's no federal law about it, but maybe there's like a local thing.
And I have not done the extra research to find the local laws. So it's very possible that Philadelphia has other local laws, but I highly doubt it because there is so much, there's such a homeless and poor population in Philadelphia. I'd be shocked if that were the case. You know what? I'm gonna look it up while we're talking. I'm gonna look it up. Well, and then because then it comes down to, well, it's unsafe, whatever. But then it keeps going down even further to, like, there are a lot of like the one that we had when I worked back at Pretzel Bitch R Us. They came and they picked up the food. We just left it in our freezer for like a couple of days, and then they just came and picked it up. Like that was it. That was the extent of how much work we put into this. Instead of throwing the trash bag in the trash, we just put it in the freezer, and that was it. And like that kind of thing is upsetting to me. Like I get very upset. Not so much that like I get very upset by that kind of waste, because even if I am a relatively, I'm relatively stable in where I'm at with my life. Not super stable, it's stable enough. I would not be the kind of person to go out and take like leftover end of the night food. There are so many people who would, and it actually is it genuine. It makes me so upset that like that companies are just like throwing shit out for that. Like that is redonkulous.
Oh, for sure.
Cause like just give it to people who need it, dude. Like I feel like it shouldn't even be like an argument. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No, yeah, for sure. And
It's called the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act, to be clear.
Before I speak and sound like I'm going to say, don't give poor people food.
That's fair.
I want to clarify that is not
that
what I'm saying.
You should, in fact, give poor people food.
It
Sure.
may sound like
Noah,
I'm saying
Noah
that.
confirmed old people apologist and hater of poor people. Noah, are you sure you're not just a full-blown capitalist at this point?
Shoot, dude, I guess I am.
Oh,
I never
dang
knew,
it, Noah. I thought better
but
of you.
now I know. I'm glad that we established that I am actually just capitalist.
I'm telling Jackson he's going to be pissed when he comes back.
I stole his bit. Jackson, the both communist and capitalist.
The capitalist.
The canapolis.
This is very good. I'll be honest. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
I don't know either. But so I get a company not wanting to set the precedent of all of their food that they like get rid of at the end of the day. I get not wanting to have the precedent of giving it all away to people who need food, because from a business standpoint, I get where that treads into dangerous water quickly of, hey, where's my food type of attitudes, which that's a whole different box to unpack of, people getting used to things and then expecting everything type of thing. But at the same time, there are things like your prepackaged food that's going to expire. There are very few reasons not to give that to like a soup kitchen. Yeah. Like that's the kind of thing that you can work out with like people.
Just feed homeless people. I don't know, man. I just certain things that about my job have been really bugging me lately, and that's just one of them. The other one is the ridiculous disregard for like the fact that one person is only capable of doing a certain amount of things in a certain amount of time while still like maintaining the store. Like I can't go to the back and get more shit if I'm the only person in the store, because that means there's no one in the front of the store.
Right.
So like what do you want me to do exactly? And then they yell at me about it, and I'm getting annoyed about that. So on a related note, if anyone is in the Philadelphia area hiring a very salty, angry person with strong opinions, give job.
I will be honest, this is a major downer of an episode. We need to save it because we only got like 10 minutes left of this, 12 minutes, 15. We need to turn this around in a big way because this whole thing was just so freaking sad.
You know what? It's not a downer. That Alex Jones case.
17 tons of cocaine.
That's not one. 17 tons of cocaine is anything but a downer. First of all. Second of all, the Alex Jones case that we brought up in the first place, it was specifically brought up because of that defamation lawsuit, and the defamation lawsuit was settled. Alex Jones was found guilty and had to pay I want to say my head says 15 million, but I don't have any kind of news source in front of me to confirm that.
That's so much money.
Yeah, but also like
I always forget that he has that kind of money because he did threaten, like he has $1 million bounty on whoever can find the malware hackers that sent him child porn.
I like that he in that thing he's like, I don't have a lot of money, but I'll sell my house, and like you definitely have, dude. Let's just Google Alex Jones net worth. What does Google say?
I can't believe it's gonna be that high.
Let's see. New York Times as of 2018.
It's actually hard to find.
It is. I was just about to say it's not like immediately popping up.
It's about 10 million.
Yeah, in 2014, his operations were bringing in more than 20 million a year in revenue. We're gonna assume that went down.
No, the network as of 2019 is 10 million.
Oh, I see it. I see the site you're using. That seems low. I'm gonna be honest.
If it weren't for the fact that he got deplatformed so heavily, I would agree. But let's be real. True. The money he's getting in now is from his like natural supplement stuff that dubiously works.
That's fair. Trying to find the exact amount that he had to pay. It says he was sanctioned. I thought I saw that he had to pay a certain amount for it. Dang it, I don't see it. He won the lawsuit. I don't see the amount though. I thought I saw somebody say an amount. Maybe they were pursuing a certain amount. This is June 18th, so this is today. Maybe this was like a preliminary thing to, okay, no, this went to the judge, yada yada. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, they won the defamation lawsuit is what I'm seeing on headlines, but it doesn't say what his actual the actual settlement was. So that's unfortunate, because I'd be very curious to see how much.
Barbara Bellis on Tuesday ordered the InfoWars host to pay some of the relatives' legal fees and prohibited him from filing motions to dismiss their defamation suits.
So maybe this is like the first of many?
It wasn't immediately clear how much those fees would be.
Okay. Wild. What a wild world.
A lot of no. Okay, this is sanctions that were imposed because he made an outburst on Friday about the child porn. So because he did that on his show, And he tried to claim that it was the families and the lawyers of the families planting that on him.
You know, like they do. Like those like the mental gymnastics for that are insane. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's about it. This is I'm seeing a little copyright thing here, so I want to say this is from the Washington Post. I am not trying to. I do not want to make any claims of stealing their stuff since I literally read an exact quote. But
counterpoint, hear me out. Hear me out. As you continuously point out, Washington Post is not going to listen to this podcast.
I have said that before, haven't I?
You have, specifically about the Adult Swim show. You give me shit for it every time I bring it up.
It's true. I love the fact that the Washington Post subtitle is "Democracy Dies in Darkness."
That's a good subtitle, though.
It's not bad.
Like,
if it weren't for the fact that I really dislike Washington Post, it would be really cool.
That's such a good movie subtitle. Like that, I feel like that should be a tagline for a movie. But yeah,
it probably is.
The point is, there's good news to some of this. Things aren't terrible in the world. They're just, ridiculous sometimes and upsetting. That's the lesson I got from this. You know what things in this world are especially not terrible, Noah?
Are they books?
They are in fact books, Noah. Now, Noah,
hey Dan, are you proud of me? I remembered we had a sponsor in this episode.
I'm so proud. I've never been so proud of my entire life. I'm gonna be honest with you. You caught what was going on. You threw it back to me. Yeah, it was a solid serve. But Noah, if you wanted to read more about how people are the worst and about stories about cocaine, where would you go for that? I mean,
personally, I would probably go to audibletrial.com/off the air, where you can find more than 40,000 different books being read to you. That number is probably way higher now.
Probably not by Alex Jones. Hold up. Hold the fucking phone.
Oh, no.
Hold the fucking phone. Tell me, please. Oh my god, audiobooks written by Alex Jones. Hold up. Tell me, please. Yes. Okay, there is an audiobook for fuck me. This is the best timeline.
It's not narrated by him, though.
No, there is one called Winging It that is, though. I'm assuming that's not I'm assuming that's a different Alex Jones, right? It has to be.
It has to be a different Alex Jones.
It looks totally like it has to be.
Wait. I'm going to listen to a sample real quick.
It has to be.
That's a woman.
Okay, thank God. I was about to lose my goddamn shit.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, that was terrifying.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so the first book is actually...
Is it?
I believe by Alex Jones.
No, it's not. It's written by American journalist Alex Jones. Different Alex Jones.
Alex S. Jones.
Yep.
So no, yeah. Oh, that's right, because Amazon removed a lot of stuff that promotes conspiracies and stuff like that.
Thank God.
They removed a lot of flat Earth stuff, and that was, that riled some people up.
What a wild world we live in. I'm glad.
So yeah, if you would like to not listen to
audiobooks by Alex Jones. If you would like to not
listen to audiobooks by Alex Jones, then you can go to audibletrial.com/off the air. After you get your free month and your free token, it's only $15 a month. And you get freaking, man, I'm literally trying to read the words in front of me. Yes, after the trial, you get 3 titles every month, an audiobook, and 2 Audible originals.
Yes.
So yeah, let's be real here. Listening to books, I love reading, but I cannot read anymore because the time commitment scares me.
Yeah, I also don't want to put that much work into anything I've ever done, ever.
A strong disagree, but because there's a lot of books I really love to read. But listening to books, that's like listening to a podcast. And much like you mentioned last week, where it will transfer across all your freaking devices and save where you left off. And much like Jackson pointed out several weeks prior, where you can set it to either stop in X amount of time or stop at the end of a chapter so that you can listen to it while you fall asleep. There's a lot of good features to Audible.
Yeah, I'm actually going through right now. I just remembered that I have Good Omens in my thing, and I really wanted to sit down and listen to that again.
So yeah, I could not possibly recommend checking this out more. I know that, like, on one hand, we picked Audible as our primary sponsor because Audible is the easiest thing to get to sponsor everything, because you literally just have to sign up for their program.
Yeah. I mean, I assume I assume they had to have, like, checked something at some point, or like maybe after a certain point they have to check. That's insane.
No, not at all.
It's wild. Why is everyone not just sponsored by Audible? That doesn't make any sense.
Hot take, everyone is sponsored by Audible is the thing.
Shoot, dude, you right.
It's just whether you want to be personally associated with a bunch of book nerds or not. But, like,
excuse me.
as a product, I feel like Audible is so incredibly worth your money. It's sub. I'm losing so many words.
One more
It's
time, buddy.
subscription
You got
costs.
this. I believe in you.
I know. It's been such a wild weekend. I'm sorry. I'm
Do you wanna
all
talk
over the
about it?
place. Not really.
Fair enough.
It's per month subscription cost is the same as Netflix,
That
and
is
you
fair.
pay for Netflix without even thinking about it. And you know
Speak
what
for
you
yourself.
can't do with
Who
Netflix?
pays for Netflix?
You pay for Netflix without even thinking about it.
Who
But you
pays
know what
for
you can't-
Netflix?
You know what you can't do with Netflix, Dan?
What can't you do with Netflix?
You can't watch Netflix while you're driving your car.
Oh,
But you
not
know
with
what you
that
can do with
attitude, you
Audible?
can't.
Damn it, Dan. You can't, okay? Actually, funny story. I 100% was watching Parks and Rec every time I drove down to Philly to visit you.
You are a monster, and I am
Now,
shocked and awed that you did
by-
not die.
Watching Parks and Rec, I mean, my phone was sitting on my lap playing Parks and Rec through the car
That's-
speakers so that I could listen to it.
That's
I
still
listened
real
to it like a
dangerous, fam.
podcast. It's literally no different than listening to music. I was not watching Parks and Rec at all,
Maybe, but it
but it
seems
was
like it would be.
playing. It's exactly the same as me listening to a podcast, my dude. Are you trying to say listening to a podcast and driving is dangerous?
I mean,
In which case,
technically, probably.
You're fired. You're fired. You cannot be on my
Oh.
podcast anymore if you're gonna
Oh shoot!
if you're gonna
That's
say
fair.
all this terrible stuff about podcasts.
No, you know what? That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Catch Dan not being on the next episode, but can you please still edit this one, please and thank you.
Nice save. I'm proud of you. I'm actually
Speaking
going through
of-
as we're sitting here, and I'm going through to see what their monthly stuff is. I know we're
This is
done.
the
I'm
longest
done with the.
Audible
I'm done with
plug
the
we've ever
sell.
done.
Like I'm good with this. Go to audibletrial.com/off the air. But I'm like going through and like some of these actually look really interesting, and I'm a little mad that I don't have more time to have stuff doing that, like that I can listen to.
Right? It's one of the things that I miss most about my third shift job that I had for like a hot minute.
Yep. Same.
Is I could listen to this stuff and I could appreciate it and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I work with the public all the time, the most
Yep.
I can do is make a playlist and enjoy listening to that instead, which is still fun.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I miss reading, and I feel like I haven't been like absorbing stories recently because it's been really hard for me to like keep on a single story for any length of time for anything. And I miss it, you know? So I'm gonna literally go through tonight and go through my my Audible collection and see what I haven't listened to yet. I have how big is my library? What's in my library right now? My library is 15 books large. That's not very many, but that's about right. No, that's over a year. That sounds about right.
As I said, that's not bad. And you have some tokens
Yeah, I have
in
some
the back.
credits that I'm sitting on. Yeah, no, that
Got
tracks.
them tokens in the back.
Nope. Okay, let's end
Audiobooks
this.
attached. I don't know other words.
Noah, where can I find you
Hats
if they want to
back
hear more of your
match.
singing?
On that Twitch clip that you have of me singing
if I
the
can
dumbest
get I can
song.
get it to download, I'm gonna put that in right here.
Listen to that phone go.
What the fuck?
Yep,
Thank you. If
that's
not,
me.
if not, that was just a weird awkward silence.
Dan, you're new to this godhood that is editing, but let me clue you into a secret.
I don't have to call
You
out the
don't
fact that
need to leave that in. You
Oh, I
can
know.
get rid of it.
yeah, but hear me out. I could also leave it in because it's funny. Someone's honking outside my house. They need to not.
What
They're
a
trying to tell me-
monster.
They're trying to tell me to stop the podcast. Noah, shut this thing down. Get us out of here. No, where can they
Well, you
find?
can
Where
find
can they
me-
find you?
Twitter and Instagram and Twitch as Bubbadabad, Bubbadabad. You know, hear my praise of other content creators on Twitter. Watch me not be able to use shooters.
Have you still
on
not
Twitch.
beaten Dragon Age?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of downloading I have to do to make it work. Emma sent me a list. Big
Emma?
freaking shout out to Emma
Emma,
for finding
you're
me a
the
list of all the
absolute-
things that
Emma-
I needed to make it work.
Emma's my favorite fan, except for the. Never mind. Hold on. Michelle just started watching this week. Never mind. Michelle's my favorite fan. Emma's my second favorite fan.
You can't call Michelle your favorite fan because she's an automatic. It doesn't count.
I
Auto
feel
favorites like that. Okay, well, okay. As the one who isn't saying that about like a significant other, I can tell you that your significant other is.
I'm gonna let her listen to this
unimportant as
episode and then
top
let her
fan.
tell me.
Oh, I'm just gonna like stop shoving my foot down my throat. Sorry, Shell. I love you. But yeah, if you guys aren't on our Discord server, which you can find in the pinned tweet on our Twitter at twitter.com/theofftheair. If you're not in the Discord server, you are missing out on a good time.
Oh my god, you're missing out on so many good memes. It's not
Emma
even
has
funny.
so many good memes.
Emma,
Edge,
Nina, and Edge are
made some
absolute heroes when
recently.
it comes to the memes in the chat. And it genuinely improves my day every time I see one.
Mm-hmm. It's such a good time, y'all. I'm very happy. But yeah, you can also find more podcast stuff at facebook.com/OTA podcast. And if you feel like sponsoring us and giving us a little bit of hard-earned money, then you can go to patreon.com/off the air. Now,
that sounds about right.
Now, while obviously super appreciate stuff like that, I know not everyone has money to donate to help out, which is totally fine. And
Same.
you can then exactly.
You think I put money to this thing? I think not.
Exactly. But you know what you can do? You can go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you happen to listen to your podcasts and give us a 5-star review. Go there, give us 5 stars, leave a little comment on it because I will read it out. No matter how dumb it is, no matter how much it trash talks me personally, then yeah, I'll read it. I'm still always confused at this podcast chews my gum real good.
I don't know, man.
I really want to know who it is.
Listen, just take the win where you can get it, fam.
I also really want to know who needs more meowing cans is, because I know that was an inside joke this year that it happened on Twitter, but it was joked about on the Discord server. So I know it's one of y'all who actually care and listen and like not that I'm more foot in my mouth. Not
Dude,
that the people that don't engage.
You?
I don't know, man. I'm in a weird place.
Can we shut this down?
Nope. I'm gonna dig myself out of this hole real quick. Not that the people that don't engage don't matter, but I know it's part of the people that actively engage and made fun of me for misspelling a tweet on the official Twitter, because my phone's autocorrect is a mess.
That's fair.
So I know that the number of people it could be is really limited, but the people that I asked about it, it's not them. And that's
yes, because the people you've asked about things definitely have been honest with you about all the things forever.
Bubba Wubba Dab fessed up immediately as the first chance he had to shove it in my face personay. He did. So, well, not the first chance, the most dramatic chance.
Speaking of the best twist that has ever appeared on this show, we in the Discord played some Cards Against Humanity this week, and we've put a little OTA inside joke deck, and it was some top quality things. It was good. But yeah, so that's where you can find the podcast. We appreciate everyone who's ever talked about us, shouted us out, even looked at our general direction. Listen, if you've listened at any point, we appreciate you specifically, because we're kind of on a year. We're what, 4 weeks out, 5 weeks out from this episode?
Very few weeks out from the 1 year.
Which is that's
the fact that anyone
we're like
listens
2.5. We're like 2 weeks out.
The fact that anyone listens to this stupid podcast, I am literally more thrilled than you can believe.
Honestly,
so thank you very much.
This is the most popular thing I've ever created in my life, and that's saying something.
Yeah,
not saying much, mind you, but it's saying something.
This is my favorite project I've ever worked on.
Yeah,
but that dumb dodgeball video I made, that's a
dumb
close
dodgeball
second.
video was wild. If you want to know what Noah's talking about, come hang out in the Discord. You can find it there.
Yeah, you can find Emma creeping on my YouTube channel
like a nerd. You can find me at twitch.tv/bornrule or twitter.com/bornrule57. I finally got a camera, so actually you can probably catch me on Instagram too.
Nice.
Like my phone camera is still borked to hell, but I have an actual camera now. Shout out to my girlfriend who had a spare camera lying around. What?
That's the absolute coolest thing.
Right? I love her.
Shout out to her.
Shout all the way out to her. So I think I might try and like go out on the city some more often and like grab some just photos. Guys, I haven't taken pictures of stuff in a long ass time.
So look forward to that.
Look forward to all of that. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Dan. That's Noah. This has been Off the Air News. Jackson's dead. Who cares about that guy? See you guys next week.
Bye.
Listen to that phone.